Good morning, everybody, and thank you for coming to today's Restaurant News Networking Groups. Today we are a combined Group 1 and Group 2 meeting, as we have a special speaker. My name is Howard Appel. I'm the founder and publisher of today's Restaurant News, and I'll be your host for today's extravaganza. I cracked myself up. If you'd like to give us a call, because we are a group of vendors in the restaurant industry who are here to help each other grow our businesses. And we're also here to help restaurateurs if they have a question or an issue that they'd like to get some help on. Feel free to give us a call or come to a meeting. You can call us at 561-620-8888 and go to our website at trnusa.com, and our YouTube page is Today's Restaurant. So I'd like to introduce our speaker for today, and I thank you very much for coming, Jason. Jason Harney is a sales trainer, and I think we hooked up on LinkedIn. Is that correct?
That's correct, yeah.
Yeah, so for those of you who don't have a presence on LinkedIn, it's important and helpful. So Jason, I'm going to ask you to take over. Do you need to share the screen at all?
Yeah, I will. Yep.
Okay, let me
I think I have that option here.
You got it. All right. So thank you very much for coming. We appreciate it, and we look forward to what you have to say.
Sure. Well, first, hello, everybody. It's good to meet everybody kind of for the first time here. I'll be brief on myself. I won't bore you with a long bio or anything, but basically I'm the owner and CEO of Harney Sales Consulting. And really our core offerings are first sales training. I travel all across the country working with companies of all sizes, from small mom and pops up to publicly traded companies. When I go in and provide a training on site, a sales training, it's a room ranging from 1 to over 100 people. And really our flagship program is something that's called the A to Z Elite Salesperson Workshop. And basically it covers everything on that you could possibly do in sales, and it's catered and tailored towards your specific company or business. Our other offering is consulting, which involves coming in and really assessing everything that you're doing from a sales perspective, from a process perspective, analyzing all of that, and then providing recommendations on newer strategies, ways to be more process oriented, to be more consistent, and be able to, in the end, of course, sell a lot more. I'll jump into kind of our program today. I'm going to focus on really one area. But before we do that, let me share this here. Okay, can everybody see that?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. So this is our core program. It's going to not letting me change my slides now, though. Let me see here. Try something here. Okay, there we go. No, it's working. Just was paused there. Okay. So yeah, before we go into, we're gonna focus today probably on the follow-up section. But before we go there, one of the things that I think surprises people sometimes when I say what I'm about to say is, well, let me say it. Really, I think that sales is probably the hardest or one of the hardest jobs that there is. And people are typically surprised that I'm saying that because my background is sales. I've been in sales one way or another for 30 years at this point. And I train on it. I travel the country working with all different companies doing it. And I still think it's one of the hardest things that people can do. And what makes it hard is that with a lot of job functions, people typically have one or two or three things that they do every day that they have to be good at. With the number of you being owners, I know that you wear a lot of hats, so you'll probably relate to this. But to be good at sales, you really have to be good at many different things, and everything ranging from prospecting, potentially cold or just sales calls, networking, whether it's in person at, let's say, trade shows or wherever it may be, or online. Howard just mentioned LinkedIn, which has become a really big, powerful force for online networking and sales. Referrals, strategic email communication. With strategic email communications, that's become really more important. It's an added section that we've added to this program, even ironically before COVID, because what's happened is, and those of you who are out there selling understand that years ago you could talk or meet with somebody, and then it was really easy to talk or meet with them a second time. And what a lot of people have done is said, okay, I'll talk and meet with you the first time, and now I'm going to ghost you if you try to call me. And so you have to be really strong in your email communications to be able to continue the conversation, keep people engaged and interested in that positive momentum moving forward. Our image, of course, the appointment, we have to be good at our appointments to be able to get things going, overcoming objections, follow-up, which is at least the one area I know that we're going to focus on today. We've already met with somebody. We haven't gotten to close yet, and how do we, follow up with the right strategies, how often, et cetera, et cetera. We'll get to that, and then closing and negotiations, and also a very underrated aspect is sales psychology. How understanding why people buy, but also from a standpoint understanding ourselves as salespeople. How do we? The best salespeople are told no more than they're told yes, and otherwise we're not really going after it hard enough, right? So really understanding our own sales psychology and how we can continue to move forward even when things aren't always going so great. All right, so I'm going to jump to our section here. Now I want to respect everybody's time, so I'll talk pretty quick. I normally do this. This is really a workshop where when I'm working with someone or a group of people, I'm typically stopping, asking questions, having people do workshopping activities to plan how you would use this information and how it would fit your organization. But today I'm going to, again, respecting everybody's time, I'm going to move kind of quickly through this to provide some value. All right, so follow-up is really, I would say it's the most underrated aspect of the sales process. Again, working with all size companies, all different industries, all across the country, the most consistent thing that I see with all organizations is that follow-up is typically where salespeople and sales organizations could use the most improvement, and where there's really the biggest area to maybe gain some more added value in what we do. In basics, what is follow-up? In a perfect world, we would present something and someone would say, where do I sign? But if we sell anything over the size of a widget and the cost of a widget, oftentimes they need some time. They need to think about it. They need to talk to other partners. They need to look at budgeting. They need to make timing decisions. So follow-up becomes really in some ways the most important aspect, because follow-up is then follow-up and closing. It's everything at that time. Why do buyers delay? It's important to understand that. Sometimes change is hard. It often requires an upfront financial investment. They're afraid of the time and process of a transition. Maybe they're working with somebody else and they're going to have to maybe end a relationship. They need time to think about it. They don't like feeling rushed. Some people quote multiple offers as a part of their process. People want comparables or comps, right? Sometimes. But the thing we really want to avoid most is that the reasoning for delaying is that we aren't following up often enough. A lot of times people are ready sooner to buy, but our process isn't quite strong or strategic enough where, you know, we're helping guide them to get to the good result. All right, so there are really two parts to follow up. One is, let's say a lead comes in. We're going to deal with that on this slide, and then the rest will be more after we've already met with somebody and you know where we can improve. When we get a lead form, let's say somebody either calls in or they fill out something on our website or however it may be, it's important that we understand that people are busy and they've scheduled time to look into this, or they've agreed to look into this now. They have more of a buyer's mindset. This statistic here is actually my favorite sales statistic of all time. And it's a really crucial statistic. And basically what it says is, if somebody reaches out to you and wants to, you know, at least is going to look into it. Again, they filled out a web form, they've called in, you've gotten a hold of them, however it may be. If you reply to this inquiry on their part within 60 minutes or less, you have an 80% higher chance of closing than if you wait beyond 60 minutes. So literally, if you wait get to 61 minutes and beyond, you're now at less, you know, you've kind of to a certain extent missed the boat. And this is really a crucial statistic. Some people sit down and take a long lunch. That's not me. I typically work through lunches. What I started doing years ago is I don't like sitting at a desk all day. So I go on a walk or a jog for my lunch. And as I've gotten older and the joints have gotten a little sore, it's more of a speed walk. It used to be more of a jog. But whenever I have a lead come in, I have it ping my phone because I want to know right away. And if I've had times where I'm out a half an hour away and I'll stop, lower my breathing, and make the call from my jog, just simply because the numbers matter. This statistic is so powerful that, you know, we want to get right to people. So our follow-up when that first interest is there and how quickly we do it is crucial. Another reason why it is valuable is, if you look at this statistic here, over 50% of salespeople wait 5 days or more to reply to a lead inquiry. So that's what people are used to. And it's always shocking to people when I show it, but if we have the mindset that people are looking for answers and solutions and we're on it and that's who we are for them, we really have an opportunity to stand out. When I ask salespeople how soon do they follow up when a lead comes in, most people say that they follow the 24 or 48 hour rule, which means the lead comes in today at noon, I'm going to contact them within, let's say, by noon tomorrow. And what's interesting about that is I think that's completely fair. So if somebody reaches out to me and I get back to them within 24 hours, I think that's completely fair. However, I'm not concerned about fair as a salesperson. I'm concerned, I want that 80% higher chance. So we can be fair, or we can be more strategic. And I'll try to move quickly through these, Howard. I think we'll probably only be able to do kind of breeze through this one section to again, respect everybody's time here. Now, when we get to the point where we've met with somebody, we've discussed, let's say, pricing, we've provided a proposal. The biggest question and kind of block for salespeople is this idea of, we don't want to be pestering somebody. We want to respect people. We don't want to ever overstep our bounds. You know, how soon should we follow up? And where that gets in the way is salespeople typically, I mean, we don't want to be pushy. I don't believe in pushy sales, but salespeople often misunderstand when it's too soon and they wait too long and they give people too much space. Now, one of the ways that hurts if we wait too long is that hopefully, if we're selling something, we've created some kind of a human connection, some kind of a bond, a camaraderie. We've talked, we've hopefully gotten to know each other a bit. We like each other. We have some momentum going forward. And really after that time, if we don't know the person prior, every day, week, minute that passes, that connection kind of fades away. I always like to ask people if, do you know anybody in your life that you unfortunately really like and you don't get to see very often? Maybe you don't talk to them for a year, but then when you see them, it's been as if it's 5 minutes. That connection is there already, right? Again, we all kind of have those people, right? And with this, in this scenario, unfortunately we don't have that. We haven't earned that relationship like we have with the people I just described. So we really have to keep in contact with people to keep that camaraderie and relationship growing. Another good way and reason to be there immediately and consistently is we can remove competitors. So if somebody, let's say somebody's decided they're going to compare 2 or 3 prices with your competitors. If you're there right away and you are meeting their needs and they feel good about it, a lot of times people will either not get comparables, say this is good, I'm busy. What I've learned about in my years of business, which a lot of you have probably learned as well, I'm sure, is that people are typically one of 2 things when you're selling B2B. When you're selling business to business, people typically are either busy or they believe they're busy. It's always one of the 2. and so if we can meet their needs in such a strong and powerful way and be right in front of them, front of mind, it can decrease completely competitors. And sometimes you might have somebody, I've had people say, yeah, we typically look at 3 comps before we buy, but I feel really good about this. I think this is what we're going to do. I'm only going to look at 1 just to make sure, because I've been, that's my process. So we can either lower or remove competitors by being there consistently and more often from a follow-up perspective. The audition, it really is an audition. How we follow up is an audition. And we worry about coming off pushy. There is a fine line between, as far as in our cadence and how soon and how often we should follow up. But really it's, if we look at it this way, when we're selling to somebody, they're not just buying our product or service at that moment. They're buying us. They're buying, what if they have a problem? What if they need assistance? What if they need support of some kind? What if something goes wrong? Let's think about ourselves in a buying situation. We're comparing 2 different companies. One is somebody meets with us. Let's say we like them. And then they're ultra nice to the point that they say, well, let's just give them space. And we don't hear from them from a long time. Maybe their approach is even as far as, let me know when you need me. And then we have somebody else who is great. They're nice as well. And they politely, consistently follow up. Hey, how you doing? Just want to see if you have any questions. Is there anything we can help with? I respect your process right now. Is there, any way we can help? And we continue to follow up and stay with them. Let's put ourselves in a buyer's shoes. Which one would we trust to be there for us if something goes wrong or we have an issue going forward? It's going to be the person who's there and consistent. And one of the thoughts I have personally, and I think a lot of people have, is everybody knows when somebody's selling something that they make more money if they sell it, whether they're on commission, whether their salary is based on how much they sell, whether their job, is there or not based on what they sell. It's really to whatever level, putting their food on the table. If someone's selling something to me and they're not working hard enough for even their own benefit as well, can we really trust them to not, that they're going to be working hard for us if we work with them? So these are kind of the psychological components to this too, that we really want to overcome this idea that we shouldn't have this continual follow-up and just kind of hope that they're going to make the right decision in our minds. We want to partner with them. We want to continue to again, it's our audition. How are we coming off? Who are we going to be for them if they buy from us? The main function of our follow-up process, one of the main functions, is simply to really have people tell us yes or no. No, no is yes, of course, is what we want. No is okay. That's a part of the process. We need X amount of no's to get to every yes. Really our only fail, in a sense, I like to leave the word failure out as much as possible, but is a maybe, or something that's floating, where we're not kind of getting to the answers of are we going to be able to help and serve this person or not. And this is really and this is something from a consulting perspective, and things that with more time we could get deeper into, and it's really nuanced to every different organization. But the number one thing with follow-up, and really our sales process in general, that we want to avoid is coming into our office every day, looking at our computer and saying, who should I call right now? I could call Bob right now. And I think I'll wait till next week on Bob. Sally, sure, I could call Sally. It's really important that we, from assessing everything, from our strategic approach, that we have a plan that's consistent day in and day out. So we know that we met with Bob on day X. We had our proposal on day Y. And we know that if he needs some more time and he doesn't necessarily determined to us, we've asked, and we don't know exactly when our next follow-up is, or we know when it is, and he didn't take our call or respond to our communication, when do we schedule the very next one? So when we come into work every day, whether we're using a CRM, whether we're using a yellow notepad or Excel or whatever we may be using, that's less important than the fact that we just have a system. We look at it and we say, okay, these are our calls. This is who we're following up with. It's based on big picture strategy. That's kind of what we got. One question that often comes up is, when should we give up on a prospect? And we really, for the most part, want to have that in our cadence and our strategy. But it really depends on two things. One is, are they communicating with us? Are they taking our calls? Are they responding to our emails? Whatever their mode of communication is. Sometimes, does it feel like they're going to continue? Are they going to eventually buy? And we might extend our follow-ups with somebody who just needs more time. Sometimes people are in an understandable process and they're communicating with us. The other part is when we're getting ghosted, when people have stopped communication with us. And one of the reasons we need a follow-up process is sometimes people will respond and buy after the second follow-up. Sometimes it's after the fourth. And it seems like they were never going to respond, but on the fourth one, they finally said, hey, sorry about that. We've been busy. We're ready now. But at a certain point, somebody can start weighting you down. And a strategy that is important, what most sales people do is they just say, well, they gave up on us, so we're going to give up on them. We're going to stop following up. What I highly recommend as a strategy is, once you've gotten to that point, you've determined what that point is to leave a final message, whether it's a voicemail, whether it's an email, whether it's both, that goes something along the lines of, hey, I hope you're doing great. We've already asked and had attempted to follow up. They know that, and we say, hey, this is going to be my last follow up. I don't want to, whatever's natural for you. Whether you say, yeah, I don't want to pester you, or I don't want to take up any more of your time with my emails and calls. Please let me know if this will be our last one. Please let me know if we can ever be of help. I wish you the best either way. That does a few things. One is it leaves the door open for down the road, but sometimes people have just truly have been busy, and it gives them the opportunity to reach back out and say, oh, hey, I'm really sorry. They in a sense realize that we're breaking up with them. Some people call this the breakup email or call, and it gives them the opportunity to say, oh, okay, Jason's been really on this. I need to respect his time now at this point. We really do need to do this. Really gives them the mindset of we need to make a decision now. And then if they don't respond, then we know, we weren't meant to get that one. But a certain percentage of closings happen this way. I can tell you that over my sales career, it's less than 10%. But pre-COVID, with the sales training and consulting, about 25% of my sales came from this specific thing, actually leaving a final email or voicemail saying this. So it plays into the numbers game of being very valuable to do. Okay, so that's, I apologize for being really fast and furious. Again, I wanted to try to fit in with your time frame. Uh, I'll open this to questions at this point, if anybody has any on follow-up or anything that we do.
Now, you mentioned 80%. If you contact somebody quickly, you get 80%, but there's still a lot of no's. And I was sort of equating it in my mind to a baseball player. Now, if a Major League Baseball player gets 3 hits out of 10 times at bat, he's top of the heap.
Yeah, right, right.
And if he gets a 200 average, he's sort of near the bottom. Well, it's the same thing in sales. If you can get 3 out of 10, you're doing great.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And with, I mean, this whole program, one of the reasons it's our flagship program, and we do it regularly, is that it covers all aspects of the sales process. And when I'm doing this for a room or a group, it's ranging from people that are new at sales all the way to people that have had 35, 40 years sales experience. And really what it does is, to your point, Howard, is that it's about inches. Sales is a game of inches, and every little inch we can add, if we add an inch here, 2 inches there, 4 inches there through our process, all of a sudden our inches are a foot. And then, we can bring ourselves from a 200 average to a 300 average. It's really about all the pieces and strengthening where we are at each aspect of the process, and really just learning new things. I mean, I met you, Howard, on LinkedIn, 5 years ago. If I hadn't have started to really dig into LinkedIn and learn the strategies and everything, I wouldn't have met you. I wouldn't have made the number of sales I've made over this last year via LinkedIn. Even though I've been, at that point, let's say 5 years ago, I had 25 years of sales experience. If I said, well, I've got it, I've done well at sales for 25 years, I'm good, then right now I wouldn't be, so it's really about adding those pieces. I love that example. How do we get ourselves from 200 to 300, and nobody gets to 400 in baseball, but in sales sometimes we can get there. So yeah, I don't know if anybody has any questions on that or what we do big picture, but
Jason, I like your talking about inches being just a little bit better, because the big thing that I know in sales is you either get the sale or you don't. You don't get a portion of the sale. So if I can just be an inch better than the guy I'm competing with, I don't get an inch more business. I get all the business from him.
Right,
so it's
right, exactly.
A little difference in you can make an enormous difference in your outcomes. You're first place or not, you might be by a hair, but you get the gold medal. And this is the only medal.
Exactly.
Jason, one thing that I believe you should always mention is to ask for the referrals.
Oh, yeah.
I know in my line of work in the insurance industry, what we do before we even start discussing options for insurance, we start building the relationship. Because in my line of work, I'm selling an intangible product, and you have to be able to trust the person on the other side of the desk with whatever you're working with. And I always ask for a referral. I always say, if I have fulfilled or offered the services that you are looking for, a referral is my best form of flattery. It's people always say, how can I pay you? How can I pay you? Just send me a referral. That's the easiest way.
No, I agree 100%. And I would say that, there's a section in this program that's on referrals and many different ways to do that and build those relationships. Referrals are by far and away the most powerful way. And if you can build a referral network, that's where sales is easy. I talked about how hard it is. I think it's the hardest thing, but anyone who's had experience in receiving regular referrals knows that that's where it feels easy at that point, because everything else is more of a grind and a step-by-step. Referrals it comes with basically credibility. You know, your every referral that we call, that you're already, you know, you're already justified to be there and be able to provide what you offer.
What do you think about gifts at holiday time? You know, to a client who's been very good over the years, like a cross pin set, or is that too tacky these days? Or
Actually, that's an interesting question. So,
Yes, please answer that one.
yeah. So there's two ways to look at that. There's two ways to look at that. So many years ago, I had a client who used to fly my wife and I all across the world, for that matter. Probably sent us on 5 different trips. Sent me, and I don't know how, this is a whole other story, a $400 pen, which I'm not a pen person. I didn't even know that at the time that pens could be that expensive. I can say that client was very inspiring to me for that relationship and to continue working with them and everything. That being said, there's, you know, another way of looking at it is where people are dropping off gifts, you know, donuts, smaller things. The biggest question there is certainly people appreciate that, but it's really as a marketing sales avenue, is it worth the time and the money over the time and money spent elsewhere? And that's one of the things that we do from an assessment standpoint. We come in, sometimes I come in and work with an organization and I look at everything they're doing and I say, yeah, I think that is working. That does make sense. And sometimes I say, yeah, my recommendation is that the salesperson shouldn't be doing that. They're spending so many hours doing that, where if that was shifted somewhere else, and we all understand that, right? Time, you know, it's a cliche statement that you know, time is money. So I don't know if that answers your question, but there's kind of two ways of looking at that from my perspective.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Jason, great presentation. One thing I want to ask, one thing that I've really identified, I've done lots of sales type stuff, and one of the things that we really focus on more than anything, are you familiar with what's called gap selling? Where basically you're trying to create a gap from where the customer is today and where they want to be. And the greater you can make that gap, you're not really selling, you're solving problems. And that's kind of been my go-to method, and it has been extremely successful. You don't waste your time on opportunities that don't exist, and you're identifying the opportunities that really, you know, they don't view you as a salesperson, they view you as a hero for solving a problem.
Yeah, no, I think that's great. And really, you know, a lot of different avenues on that. One is, as you know, is it starts with really niche prospecting. You know, how, you know, who are we targeting? Who are we spending our time on? You know, how niched down are we? By the way, I have a section in this program about this, but it's niche or niche, whatever you use. I looked it up. They're both accurate, but how, yeah, what most organizations do is they say, you know, let's say you're selling, this is a lot of hospitality. Let's say you sell to restaurants, and which, by the way, I have a lot of experience personally going back. I spent 20 years selling to organizations that own restaurants, hotels, et cetera, et cetera. But, you know, we know that if you, like, restaurants is a niche, but it's a very broad one. You know, how can we be more effective and better serve? You know, if we find out, okay, it's fast food chains in this geographic area of, you know, et cetera, et cetera, the more we know where our strength is and where we can help people, the more we're going to be able to fill those gaps. But also from a presentation standpoint, of course, how do we, you know, really in the appointment, when we're having that first meeting, it's really about asking the good and right questions to find out what those gaps are, right? And it's one thing to two different perspectives. What most salespeople do is they go in there with the assumption of what the person wants and the way they want it, as opposed to treating each potential buyer as a unique individual. And the only way, you know, that's the best way. And the only way to do that is really to ask. You know, if we go to a restaurant, we want somebody to hand us a hamburger and say we have the best hamburger. We might not like hamburgers. We might love hamburgers. We might, you know, someone might be a vegetarian. There might be all these different things. It's better to find out, you know, what do you like? How can we help you, type of thing. Terry, did you have a question? So your hand was up.
It's not really a question. I just wanted to add to what you were talking about here, and Darren touched on it. When I went through my sales training, there was the thought that they impounded in my brain was features tell, benefits sell. So if you can't show, you can tell them all you want about a product or service, or whatever, but if they don't see the benefit, then you're not going to get anywhere. So that step-by-step process to get to decrease the number of no's is all in showing how it's going to benefit them.
Yeah, that's a great point. And yeah, a lot of it is how we get it across. And it really is about great communication. Sometimes I think one of the biggest shortcomings in sales often is that people have this kind of structure, which is important. You need to have a structure, but they're more following a checklist in their sales meetings, where we should have a structure in our head of where we want to get and what our processes are. But it's just being more organic and I don't want to say informal, but just have getting into the conversations. Whether you use this exact wording or it's a different wording, it's really about, how can I help you? I'm here to help you. How can I make I'm an optimist by nature, so this might sound a little gooey to some people, but I believe in sales. Our job is to make the other person or person's life or job better. That's really our goal. It's not about us selling anything. It's not about the money we're going to make. That all takes care of itself. It's really finding out how are you unique? How can I help you? And that's how we find out what will benefit them. And they're more, even if you're talking to, let's say, two different organizations that are exactly the same industry, exactly type setup, the person you're talking to is different each time. They have a different need, a different want. We're all different. So yeah, great point there. Gabby, do you have a?
Yeah, going on the same subject. I've seen it. I learned this early on in my sales career, and I've seen it time and time again, especially with the newbies or the rookie salespeople, where some salespeople get focused on trying to sell the client and talk about, the product and why we're different, why other vendors are, less than or we're more than, as opposed to just listening to what the client is actually looking for and really, really sitting there and like shutting your mouth or just guiding the conversation, letting them do the talk, but you guiding through the conversation. That actually is a game changer, because it goes from why are we better than to this is what we have to solve your problems. And the closing conversations are just completely different, to the point where when you get to objections, because I've seen it where decision makers, they come in to the closing table with a decision already made that they're not going to buy, and they give you objections, where if you turn around the conversation and remind them of what their needs were and their problems that they're having, actually they close themselves for you. You don't even have to do much. So
yeah. No, I think one of the great points you make is that really the best closing method is that it's closed before you're even trying to close it. Because it's really about going back to another one of your points. As a buyer myself, the thing that turns me off more than anything is someone trying to find out let's say I'm working with already, trying to find a way to denigrate them or put down what they do, and to try to raise themselves up. It's a bad look. And it's really more about just, asking questions, listening, being someone who has, solution based, and they're buying us. I mean, who do you want to work with? This style of trying to find out and put down the other options is it's like a gossip approach. It has a really bad look and feel to it.
I've actually seen it where, in cases that my solution might not solve all the problems, but down the road they actually have a need for what I'm providing, where they actually because of the report and the relationship that we created and built in the beginning, they actually reached back out to me to let me know, okay, actually, I think that we can move forward now. So
Yeah.
building the report and really listening really changes the entire environment.
Yeah, I
add to that,
agree 100%.
Gabby, I was just going to say, someone told me long ago, God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. We should be listening twice as much as we're talking.
Yeah.
And if you're not listening to what the customer's needs are, you're just, as I call, feature diarrhea, where you're just spouting out everything your system can do. You're going over their head and they have no idea what you're talking about. So it's really identifying how your solution solves their problems is what they want to hear. And bad mouthing, Jason, you're right. Never badmouth your competition. Differentiate yourself through positive talk of what you can do. I always start with, hey, they're a great company. But let's look at your specific needs and how we can address them. And I think we can handle it better. I would encourage you to ask them these same questions. And those are the types of things that we'll do to, and the other just last thing, and then I'll shut up because I've been talking a lot, is everybody in your organization is a salesperson. And it's so important that that person answering your phones and your customer support teams have to be always, I'll understand they're solving problems for customers, but they also can point out when you have a new product that might meet a need that the customer is talking about. And hey, did you know we also do this? And that's always add-on sales are a good portion of what revenues come from.
Yeah, that's a great point. Actually, one of the surprises for me, there's been a lot of surprises over the years, but I've been doing this for quite a while now, but is the majority of these training programs that I do when I'm in a room is, of course, there's salespeople in there, but the owners, the CEOs, the people answer the phones, the human resources, et cetera, they, to your point, everybody is a part of sales. And even if I'm talking about follow-up and there's somebody in the room who's not necessarily going to be involved in the follow-up, them understanding what everybody's doing it really helps them be a part of the team concept, and it helps in many ways. One again is sometimes they will be a part in some angle and they'll understand what the whole process is. But also I've seen it actually help from a relationship standpoint. So there's a lot of we've all worked in environments. There's all different kinds of people, and there are people that are more positive. There are other people who aren't necessarily as positive in the organizations, and sometimes everybody understanding what everybody is doing actually helps from an overall culture standpoint at an office or organization, because it's like, oh, this is what they do. I thought they were doing that, or that wasn't. It's people make a lot of assumptions on what people are or aren't doing. So, I agree wholeheartedly that everybody is a salesperson. That's a great point.
Rick, you had a question?
Yeah, I've got one. So, you're talking about how we should follow up and eventually just say, this is my final call. But one thing that we need to figure out is when it's not a good fit. So how do you handle if it's not a good fit tactfully?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. So one, it starts with prospecting, obviously, right? We're niching in for who we feel we have a higher percentage of being able to help and close. That's obviously going to be more efficient for us. We're going to close more consistently. And part of that is, what's a good fit? Sometimes we still get there and we realize it's not a great fit. And, my mindset has always been, it's when I got into sales right out of school, it's funny, I graduated college and started in sales 8 days later. And what I learned right away is that in many ways, salespeople get a bad rap. And it's really, a lot of that has to do with the fact that we're so used to salespeople just trying to get the sale, that it feels more about the sale than it is really helping us and learning. And so I've always been of the mindset that if I ask questions and I listen and I find, let's say I find, okay, I can really help them in this way, that empowers me to be a better salesperson. That's going to drive me with more ambition to really help them and get the sale. But if I for any moment feel like I'm not the best option for them, I'm just going to tell them that. I'll tell them, you know, I've told people, hey, I would love to work with you, but just being straight with you, I would recommend this other option because you're going to be better served. That's my job. And I think the reason why salespeople have gotten a bad rap is they forget that. And they're so focused on, you know, the money they're going to make or getting every sale that they'll do and say whatever, when in the end, here's what I learned over the long term, is if our mindset is maybe we shouldn't get this deal and be better that they go somewhere else. Yeah, we're going to pass off some people that maybe we could potentially sell. But if that's our overall mindset, that carries over into the people that we really can help. And so if that's who we are, they feel, you know, buyers feel that integrity sells, as funny as that sounds. Then we're going to have more, if we have the integrity to let one go that we're not a good fit for, who we are is going to have more integrity for the people that we do, and we're going to sell more of those. That's something that, you know, we all learn over time. So yeah, I would say if we're not a good fit, just say, hey, my job here, this is a potential wording, but my job here is to make your situation better. And the truth is, our option really isn't going to be the best for you. And what I would recommend is because this one is. And it sounds funny from a sales perspective, but big picture, that's if we're doing things right, then things are gonna turn out right for everybody.
Well, and Jason, if you do that and then say that for this reason it's not a good fit, my job is to help you succeed. For this reason, I don't think this is a good fit, and see if they agree or if they argue with you about it. But who do you know that this would be a good fit for? Because you may end up getting a great lead out of this because they say this person has integrity, and if I send it to my friend and it's not a good fit, they're not going to try and push a solution that doesn't work. And you sort of get a reputation of, if you're thinking in this area and you don't know for sure, call Andy, and he'll either help you or he'll help you find somebody that will help you.
Well, you know, when somebody comes into my office, I always have to remember the back of my head, I'm smarter than they are, because they're coming to me for some sort of reason, some sort of problem they need help solved. And I may not have the product that they have, but if I don't, I will guide them to the person who does. Am I losing monetary value? Yes. Am I gaining trust? Yes, because trust is a lot more. Money's good. I'm not going to lie. Everybody needs money. But if you don't have trust, you have nothing.
Well, Rick, I was just gonna say that the people buy from people that they like and trust. So if you actually are 100% honest with them and tell them, okay, I don't think this is gonna work out, but I do have a couple of people in mind that I can pair you with that actually might be a better fit for your company than what would be. I can tell you 100 times that I've done that, and every single time I keep in contact with the person, and I either get a referral or I get future business from them because they already know that you're going to be 100% transparent. And me as a consumer, the one thing that I hate, and like Harney said, that these people actually give salespeople a bad rap and really irritates me, is when I find a salesperson that is very pushy and is lying in my face, and I know that this person is lying on my face, and I confront them and they still try to cover the lie. I'm like, no, I know what you're saying. You're not being truthful with me right now. From that standpoint, not only did that person lost my trust, but the whole company as a whole lost my trust, and I just go to their competitors.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing about it. I mean, you know, as you build that referral business, it's just going to keep coming. I mean, yeah, we hate losing a possibility, but you know, what's on the other side of that?
Yeah, I think to both of your points, really good points from both, is there are multiple reasons to do things right, and you know, one is, I mean, for me, it'll sound strange to say it, but part of why I always want to do the right thing with that is just, I shouldn't say part, the main thing is I want to we all have to sleep at night. I like to look, we all want to look in the mirror and feel like, yeah, I'm doing the right thing. I'm doing right by people. But another part is, yeah, we've all, there's a lot of experience in this room here, and we've all been to, we're members of associations and chambers, and we've built all these relationships. We know who sells what, and we get to see all these people and know all these people, and we all know that when we're in that a networking room, let's say at a networking event, let's say it's after a trade show or something, we can look over there and say, that person is someone we can trust and we can recommend them. That person over there, everybody knows, is only about the sale and will do anything or say anything. So it really is, to both of your points, it's a reputation builder or killer, and your reputation is everything, as we all know.
I think
Integrity in sales is not as common as it should be, and that is the one thing you can control, is your integrity, and that leads to your reputation, to your point. And if you always focus on, is this the moral and right thing to do, that will never burn you. You may lose a sale here or there, but in the long run, you'll gain 10 times what you lost. Right.
No, real quick, somebody once said to me, in much younger years for me, they said, it takes many great things to build a great reputation and only one bad thing to destroy it all. Sorry, Howard, I know you had something.
Yeah, I just think that regardless of whether you're a salesman or salesperson or not, everybody is in sales. Whether you're not in sales at all, even if you're not working, you're trying to sell yourself to somebody at some point to get something, whether it's a relationship or an appointment. You're still in sales. So everything that you said applies to everybody in everyday life.
If you're able to influence someone into making a decision or not making a decision, you're in sales.
Right.
Good.
Well, and the worst thing is when you go to a restaurant, something new, and you go on Yelp reviews, and you could have 5 excellent reviews, but that one negative put that restaurant out of business. And before they even do that, they should have talked to the management, said something like, this didn't work out, this was wrong, nobody fixed it, and let them try and make it right so that they don't lose their business because of that one horrid review. I think that's like the worst thing you could possibly do to someone.
Yeah. And that's really an unfair situation. Having worked with lots of restaurants, I still have clients that own restaurants, hotels, resorts. You can do everything right, even, and somebody has a bad day, or that's who they are, and they want to, they want the whole world to know how they feel at that moment. And for restaurants in particular, that type of review system is really unfair because everybody makes a mistake, but B, sometimes they don't, and someone's still gonna, let them know.
Right.
Those situations fall to what I call the customers that are okay to fire. and the other thing being is someone's perception is their reality. So there's really nothing you're going to do other than try to do the right thing. But if they perceive something and that is their reality, and sometimes you just can't negotiate through that.
Very true.
True.
Jason, thank you very much for coming today. Can you give us your telephone number or contact information so that if somebody wants to reach you, they can?
Yeah, so I'll give my direct mobile number to this group. It's 248-761-1348. So 248-761-1348. And our website is www.harneysales.com. HARNEY sales.com.
248, is that Michigan?
It is. Yep.
Okay.
Ann Arbor area. I don't know if I know Florida quite well because my dad lives there, and I've been down there for work quite a bit. So
Great. Okay. I'm
Well,
like, two for it.
I'd like to get everybody's intros in today if we can. Then, please, stick around and see who we are.
yeah,
And if you give me back the screen, again,
Oh,
thank
yeah.
you very much for coming. We appreciate it. And I have it stirred up a lot of thoughts that that we can use as salespeople. So let's do our let me introduce some of the new people who are here today. Let me look around the screen. Where are we? Our newest members are Larry Levine and Andy Rice. And who else is here? All the new people left. All right, let's do the intro. Steve Whitehill, why don't you start us off?
Sure, I'm Steve Whitehill. I'm a business broker. I help people buy businesses. I have all sorts of businesses for sale. Lately, I like to talk about the ones that are, most of the time, the ones that are, let's call it nicer or more profitable, bigger. But today I'd like to talk to you about, I have a travel agency for sale. And what's interesting about that is it's a very, very small business. Doesn't make a lot of money, but it's great for certain groups of people who are retired. These guys, what they end up doing is they end up traveling for free. They put together travel groups, and you get a certain number of people into that group, and guess what? You don't pay for the travel, so you can make a couple of bucks and end up with a nice lifestyle. So I have all sorts of businesses for sale, restaurants by the ton, of course, and I have a concrete restoration company, all sorts of very interesting kinds of businesses that you might not think of. Great ways to make a living. Steve Whitehill, Anchor Business Brokers. I can be reached at 561-376-7500. And my email address is steve@anchorbb.com. Thank you.
I also wanted to mention that Scott Grasso was one of our newest members. So welcome to all you new folks. Andy, why don't you tell us?
My name is Andy Rice. I work with a company called Quail Systems. Quail Systems uses ozone and nanobubble technology to create disinfectants that are used on produce and things that you might not be able to cook in a restaurant. So any restaurant that is having challenges with making sure that the lettuce is clean, that the tomatoes don't have E. coli on them, but don't want to put chemicals on the food before they serve it, we're a great option. Another one we're having a lot of success with is with ice machines. We know how dirty they become and get the biofilm and the mold. We put our equipment on, and one of the customers that's testing us in Mexico right now called me yesterday, say, we're shocked. It's been 3 months. We clean our machines every month. We've been there for 3 months in a row, and it looks like they were cleaned yesterday. And we're not doing anything to it except just leaving your device on. So Andy Rice, Quail Systems. My number is 864-349-3421 or arice@quailsystems.com.
Okay, thank you. Larry Levine, good morning.
Hi, good morning, everybody. My name is Larry Levine. I represent a company called Parts Plus Now. We sell all replacement parts, anything that breaks in the commercial kitchen or the food service industry. So, if a piece of equipment goes down, we have your replacement parts, pre-rinse units, gas filters, oven parts, refrigeration parts. And if you not sure what it is, just check out our website at partsplusnow.com. We're not up yet because we're debuting our grand opening will be at the trade show next week, which will be at booth 158. So stop by and say hello. And if you have any questions or any concerns about any parts of equipment, let us know. We'll gladly help you out.
Hey, thank you. Give us, you want to get a phone number you want to give us?
They don't have it at the moment right now. It's being processed.
Okay.
I have my regular number. You guys can call me. It's 954-675-3536. Anytime, I'll gladly help you out.
Okay, thank you. Terry Ark, good morning.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Terry. I'm the owner of Creative Business Impressions. I am a 20-year veteran of the promotional products industry. I provide anything that would put a company logo on. I always like to show something new each time I do a presentation. So I just received these in the mail. This is a big one, but this bandanas for those cooks in the kitchen. However they do it, I don't know. Anyway, but logos can go on anything. I've been doing this again for 20 years, started my own company in 2018. I love doing all kinds of different projects. Love restaurant business, and my information is in the chat.
Yeah, give us your phone number because people watching.
I'm sorry, 561-308-1393. I'm here in Boca Raton, but I do business anywhere. Everything's
Okay.
by email.
Thank you. Rick, good morning.
Hey, good morning, group. Thank you for allowing me to be here today, especially with I'm an hour behind. So 10 o'clock for me, 11 o'clock group for you guys. I am based in Huntsville, Alabama. I am an independent insurance broker. I do several things. I can help restaurant owners get insurance for their employees through the Affordable Care Act. My main niche is Medicare. And as you all know, we are in the middle of the Medicare annual enrollment period, where we will actually take your drugs and your doctors, and we will do our best to place them into the best plan possible for next year. I am licensed in Alabama, Florida, Tennessee, Georgia, South Carolina, and Mississippi. So if I could be of help, my information will be in the email that Howard will send out later.
Okay, thank you. Let's go to Gabby. Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. Gabby with Worksite PEO. We're a full service PEO company. What that means is that we do all your back office and HR related tasks, from payroll taxes, employee health benefits, workers' comp, 401k, and HR consultation. We'll take away burden and risk and liability out of your desk and put it on ours so that you can get back and focus on what you actually got into business for, which is your baby, your small business. Gabby with Worksite PEO. We love referrals. We have a great referral partnership program. And if you know anyone that can benefit from our services, please let me know. 561-479-7474.
Okay, thank you. Azalea, good morning.
Morning, guys. My name is Asalia. I am a business broker in South Florida. We have about 48 restaurants as of today. And just something I wanted to add, that I raised my hand but didn't want to interrupt. I feel like following up, if I don't follow up, it's a disservice to the people that we're working with, because we care and we have a good product. So if we don't do it, they're going to end up in the wrong hands. That's kind of how I see follow up. And when I think about, like, am I going to pick up the phone and call this guy again? I'm like, yes, because if not, God knows where he's going to end up. So that always helps me to continue following up. So my number is 786-457-2796.
Good morning, this is Chris Kaufman.
Okay. Scott Grasso, good morning.
Hey, good morning, guys. Nice meeting, Howard. Fantastic. I got to tell you, I'm sitting out in front of my next client's office, and I just got a text from, hey, Scott, I've been here for an hour. Hey, you want me to send out a cup of coffee? I had no idea what I was doing out here. Anyway, my name is Scott Grasso. Our company is Auctions for America. We're a full-service auction company. 40% of our business is in the food service-related industries, manufacturers, restaurants, distributors. We also do grand estates and machine shops and all kinds of other things. We do a sale nearly every day. So if anybody needs any kind of service or knows anyone that does, we'd be happy to help them. My number is 954-297-8576. And you can visit our website at auctionsforamerica.com. See what we're doing.
Thank you. Darren, good morning.
Good morning, everybody. Darren Gull with Tracy.net. We are a communications consulting and solution provider. What I say is we take the aches and pains out of communication services. We have our own platforms. We're also master agents for all the big companies you know out there, the Ring Centrals, the Zoom, the 8x8s, GoTo, Jive. You name it, we probably work with them. So our approach is to truly identify pain points in your communication services. If we can't help you solve a problem, we'll let you know that. You know you have a great service going for you, but we'll give you our card and say if that ever changes, give us a call. So if you know someone who's struggling with their communication services, you know someone who's overpaying and hasn't looked at a bill in 2 years, they probably don't know they're overpaying, we can help with all that. The additional thing that we do is we stay involved in tier 1 support. So if you come through us, you don't have to deal with being put on hold with the big carriers. Our support team will work with you right from the get-go. So Larry, I'd love to talk with you. If you haven't got your phone number yet, I think we can help you. You can reach me directly. My direct number is 954-360-4311. And Tracy, we like to say, no gimmicks, no gotchas, just great service. You can find us online at www.traci.net. It's not somebody's name, it's an acronym for transmit, receive, and communicate information.
Well, from one Tracy to the next. Tracy Pumo, good morning.
Good morning, Howard. Thank you. I'm Tracy Pumo with Skyline Analytics here in Boca Raton, Florida. We are a full-service business intelligence consulting firm, and we provide fully customized solutions to help companies enhance visibility into their financial data. And we provide them with actionable steps and business insights that they can use to increase profitability by making smarter data-driven decisions. I can be reached at 561-512-1933.
Hey, thank you. TRN Terry, good morning.
TRN Howard, thank you for that. I am with today's restaurant news. Other than handling the office, I also am in charge of the monthly lead reports, which keeps me busy about 50 hours a week. So every lead I get, follow up with all of the sites we give you once a month. Should be coming out in about a week or so, usually around the 9th. A full report of restaurants that are and have leases, have just broken ground, are franchising. We give you the names, the owners, email addresses, phone numbers, and a little bit about the restaurant in the one column next to the address. What phase they're in, are they under construction, are they just, whatever. And I'm very proud to say that 2 months ago, we had our best month ever with 80 leads. It's usually about 60 to 70. This month looks like it's going to be up there as well. We have one for Florida, one for Georgia. The Georgia one is not, I'm not going to tell anyone a lie and say it's anywhere near 80 or 70 or 60. It's not. It's about 30 to 40. It's a lot less going on in Georgia. As far as I know, there may be a ton, but it's very difficult, even with the sites you pay for monthly, it's very difficult to get information. And then you pay extra's name and email, which you have to go all the way back to licensing to get. So it takes a long time to get a lead. Anyways, if anyone wants a sample, I know many people here already get it. I just want to let you know our prices will almost double in January. So if you are gonna get the leads, you're not sure, if you want them, you better get them by December 31st, and then you're grandfathered in. So each year when you renew, it's going to be that same $4.99. It's not going to be the $8.99 price or $9.99, whatever it is. So if you want a sample, let me know. I'll send it out. Thanks. Have a good weekend.
Hey, Chris, you off?
Look at John. I'm sitting there going, now wait.
Chris Kaufman, are you up? Chris is having trouble with his audio.
No, it just was a client company, and we still have those, Howard.
Yeah, that's good.
Yes.
You want to give us your intro now, or you want to wait?
I'll do it right now.
Okay.
Chris Kaufman, recruiters placing aces in great places, Restaurant Recruiters of America, working with small, medium, and large companies to provide management talent throughout the United States. Based out of Vidalia, Georgia, the average age is deceased. And We work on behalf of the companies to find the restaurant managers and chefs that they need. All-star talent provided all the time. All-star talent. And our telephone number is 404 All-Star, 404-255-7827, 404 All-Star. Come back to see us.
Great.
Chris, do you work
Thank you.
nationally? Or
Yes,
just
that is correct.
okay? I might have a lead for you, so I'll connect with you.
Thank you.
John Mulholland, good morning. You're all alone today. Can you?
There we go. Yeah, they deserted me. So, with the rising cost of food, doesn't it make sense to team up with somebody that can keep those prices down and save you 15% off your food costs on an annual basis? Do you realize that every time you move a case of green beans, that price of that case of green beans goes up? So wouldn't it also be nice to combine with a company that cuts down the number of times you move your product? So if you know of anybody wanting to save 10 to 15% by paying us this much money, let us know. I know it sounds too good to be true, but we have a lot of clients that'll back us up. John with SSC.
Okay, thank you. John Marinek, good morning. Are you back in home base?
Yeah, I ended up catching a flight last night, so got back in about 1 o'clock in the morning. Sorry I was late this morning. I knew it was an earlier meeting and I just couldn't get myself up to it. Anyway, John Marinek Food Service Consultants. We design restaurants, so if you need a restaurant designed, we're the people to call. We go anywhere in the world for it, and we've been doing it for about 42 years. It's starting to feel like it. So anyway, I appreciate it. 954-817-1183. Thank you.
John Bunn, good morning.
Good morning. Happy Friday, everyone. Sorry I was a little late. I was out on the shop floor helping solve a problem. My name is John Bunn. I'm with the BH Bun Company. As you can see behind on the video, we tie boxes. Kind of an interesting thing. About 10 days ago, there was a news report out in LA where a Grubhub driver was sitting in front of the restaurant, breaking into the food and eating it. All over the news. It's national news. This is one of many things that happen. Our machines tie a knot that cannot be duplicated by hand. You can replace the plastic bags and paper bags. You can tie the clam shells. You can tie them as a group, pizza boxes. As you can see behind me there, anything you can think of, we've tied it. We've been in Federal Reserve banks, laundries, newspapers, magazines. Everybody uses it. We just developed a new 100% cotton machine grade blended twine. Nobody has this. I'm the only one in the world that's got this material. We just developed it. We've got customers down in New Zealand that have to tie vegetables. They can't use any plastic on it. So if you need anything tied, secured, so drivers can't get into the food, call us at 1-800-222-BUN. Our website is buntyco.com. and our email is info@buntyco.com. My name is John Bunn, third generation. We've been in business coming up 117 years, November 7th. Thank you.
I sent that video out yesterday to over 500,000 people.
Nice, thank you.
With your regular ad, of course.
I saw it.
Let's see, who we got? Pam, good morning.
You're on mute.
Pamela, you're on mute.
She's trying to get it off. There you go.
Okay. Yeah. Hello, everybody. I'm late too, I think. And it's Friday near the end of the month, trying to close some deals. Hope everybody's well. I'm Pamela Hewitt. I'm with Navitas Credit, and Navitas Credit is $800 million direct lender for equipment financing, working capital, other business loans. And we're owned by United Community Bank, a $22 billion asset bank based out of the South. Right now, it's really important if you sell equipment to mention financing to your clients, because banks are cutting credit lines back or cutting them. Amex, which is famous, they always cut the business credit lines as soon as anything doesn't look good. So we, our loans for equipment, let's say for restaurants or hospitality or furniture or whatever it may be, the only collateral is the equipment. So it's also not, as bank loans, you have to basically offer everything that you own as collateral, including business assets, personal, etc. So with our equipment financing and working capital, it's really just either cash loan or just the equipment is the collateral. And I'm also here hoping to send out all our vendors, if they're going to the FRLA, some end of the year tax information that will be maybe help you close a few more sales, along with 3 months no payments or 6 months at 99. So if you're interested in any of those programs, whether for your company or for your clients or just someone you know, you can reach me direct on my cell at 813-531-0654. And thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you. Jason, you want to do an intro?
Me or?
Go ahead.
I'll add to it. So I guess you basically know what I do, and I just travel across the country providing sales training and sales strategy consulting. And whether you're a small organization or a large one or whatever industry, we learn about you and how you do things and tailor it to you.
And Jason can be reached at?
So you can reach me at www.harneysales.com. That's HARNEY sales.com. Or you can call me direct on my mobile at 248-761-1348, 248-761-1348.
Okay.
So Jason, Howard, just a quick question. Jason, do you specialize in any certain industry? So here we're with hospitality, restaurant, etc. But are there industries or specific sweet spot for that you call on, so we can be a little more aware when we're out in the field that there's a good lead for you?
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for asking. Interestingly enough, I've worked with virtually every industry. Now, there are industries that tend to hire in sales trainers and consultants more than others. Definitely a lot of manufacturing, companies that manufacture and sell. That's a big niche. My background, I have 20 years of selling experience to the hospitality industry. So this is actually anything hospitality related. I know as well as any other industry. But I've had some unique things. I worked with companies I didn't know existed. I had a company that flew me out. We flew out to I went out to Virginia, and they're the largest company that goes into Home Depot, Lowe's, Walmart, and removes birds. So, and I worked with large publicly traded companies. I've worked with companies even in the oil industry. So it's there's a saying that sales is sales, and I think there's truth to that. But a lot of our process and what we do is asking questions up front, learning about you, and making sure that that we're specifically tailoring it to you. Even to, as I said before, two companies that are the same in the same industry, they're still different companies. They still have unique nuances. I think that's part of why I've worked with a lot of industries is we don't come in with just a cookie cutter concept, even though we have a process and we go through every aspect of the sales process. It is completely tailored to the organization. So we're pretty flexible on that.
Awesome. I'm going to give you a call. I think we run in some of the same spots.
Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you.
Well, again, thank you very much for coming today. We appreciate it. I'm sure that there was some great information for everybody. And welcome back anytime. If you have another topic you want to talk about, you're welcome to come back and do it.
Thank you all. Thanks for having me and great meeting everyone.
Again, I'll just do my last intro. I'm Howard Appel. I'm the founder and publisher of Today's Restaurant News. And if you'd like to reach us, give us a call at 561-620-8888. Go to our website at trnusa.com. And if you want to see this whole video in its entirety, you can go on our YouTube page at Today's Restaurant. I have come up with a special TRN networking only package of advertising that I'm getting ready to release to all of you. It's something that is so special that I can't see anybody not being able to utilize it. So look for that and have a great weekend. Thank you all for coming. We'll see you all again next week at our regularly scheduled times, 9 and 11. Appreciate you coming today and take care.
Happy Halloween,
Let the
everyone.
sauce be with you.
Thank you all.
Have a great weekend, everyone.